big round of applause? Okay. Will Barkley has been in the Assembly for many years, and Will is a solid conservative Republican, and he's unopposed, and the problem that Will and I have is the same. We just hope that there's not too many people writing in Mickey Mouse. That's a fact. There is a Oswego County group. This is the Oswego County group. Well, look, it's great to be here, and it's great to see such a great turnout. And I think it illustrates the fact that people are worked up about this election. There's a lot of excitement for this election, and rightfully so. And I love that we have these candidates here, and I love to have some of these candidates speak, because I think it demonstrates why there's a lot of excitement here in this election. First, you saw Wendy Long. You can see why she's a great candidate. Her speech here, I think she does a great job. Ran last time under tough conditions. She's going to run this time under tough conditions. What we have to do is make sure everybody gets out there and votes for her. Because as the senator said, who knows what's going to happen in this election with Wendy Long. Anything can happen with Trump being on top of the ticket, and he may pull a lot of people in office that we would never thought had a chance of winning. So Wendy Long is great. We got a great congressman with John Katko. I've said it over and over again. My goodness, I haven't seen this guy make one mistake since he's been in office, and I think that shows with his 18 or 19 point lead that he has in a poll. So give that a round of applause. And one more big round, well, a few more big round of applause. But we are so lucky in Central New York to have a state senator like John DeFrancisco. I have now been in office. I've now been in office going on 13 years. I've seen how things run down there. I can see how various members of both houses in the Assembly and the Senate can get run over. And you really do need, and this word's been used a few times tonight, a bulldog who's going to push back against some of those interests, particularly the downstate New York City interests. And we are so lucky to have a fighter like John DeFrancisco. So now, please give him a round of applause. It's not a surprise he's not opposed because of his great leadership. I also happen to have I happen to run the Republican Assembly Campaign Committee in the Assembly, and I want to talk about the three great candidates we have here. But before I do that, I just want to mention my former colleague in the Assembly, Claudia Tenney, who, when she gets elected, will be my congressman in Oswego County, believe it or not. Oswego County split between Katko and Claudia Tenney. I can't be happier that she's running. I know she's going to win because, like all of our candidates, she's extremely hardworking. She's a great retail politician. She's going to get out there and meet as many people as she possibly can, and that's what's going to make sure that puts her over the edge. And she's going to be a fighter down in Washington, just like she has been in Albany. Now let me get on our Assembly candidates. We're very lucky. Running throughout the state. I think we have some of the strongest candidates running for office in the Assembly, that I'm very optimistic that we're going to pick up a number of seats in the Assembly. We always face a challenge in our House because we're dominated by New York City. Very difficult for us to get a majority because 65 members of the Assembly come right out of New York City. That being said, that doesn't mean we don't need more members. We need a lot more members to push back on that downstate interest that is so pushed in the New York State Assembly. And so what I'm happy, we have great candidates, and three of them here. Certainly Vince Giordano, he's going to take Al Sturpey out. It's about time. Rarely ever see Al ever speak on the floor. Have we, Gary? If he stood up on the floor, I'd be amazed. All I see him is vote for New York City interests, vote with the majority, and vote for New York City interests, not for Central New York interests. So Vince is going to do a great job. I look forward to serving with you, Vince. Moving right along with John Solka, who ran last time and did a great job. It's tough to be a long-term incumbent. I know John's going to do it just because of what the senator said. I get daily reports of what he's doing out there. He's doing door-to-door like mad. That's the way you win elections, retail politics. He's going to be a great member of the Assembly, and I look forward to working with John when he gets elected. This last guy who walked in, I think he's going to speak next, Gary Finch, who I have the pleasure of sitting next to. Give him a round of applause. I have the pleasure of sitting next to Gary in the Assembly, and the one thing I could say about Gary, a number of the good things I can say about Gary, is he really is passionate about this area. I went to a fundraiser in Auburn that he had last night. I think he had, how many people there? 200, 250 people. And it really just showed Gary truly is a family person. And Auburn in central New York is his family. And he represents it as well as anyone else could. Gary's got a tough race this year, as he did last year, but he's going to, I know, fight through it and look forward to hearing what he has to say. But Gary, we all got to get out there and help Gary get reelected because we need him also in the Assembly, and Central New York needs him and his leadership. Well, now that I mentioned everybody, right? Senator, I guess we got the Supreme Court candidates too.
How about Watertown?
Well, we do. We have, that's a great, there are a few people in the Assembly that really get the hairs rise on your back whenever they push and talk, because you know they're not really being sincere what they talk about, and you know they're not really looking out after their constituents. They end up just falling in line with whoever the speaker is, whether it's our great old friend Shelley Silver, or whether it's now the current speaker, Carl Hayes. We happen to have one person up in Watertown. Her name's Addie Russell. She is a Democrat that represents a Republican district. We've tried to knock her out in the past, and we've had a lot of problems for various reasons, split lines, just maybe B or C level candidates. I'm proud to say and happy to say we have an A-level candidate up in Watertown. We have the conservative, independents, and Republican lines for this candidate. His name is John Burns, and I'm very, very optimistic that that's one seat, along with McGee's seat, that we're going to be able to pick up in the Assembly. And it's about time the North Country has a Republican representative. Now that I've covered all these candidates, we also have some great judicial candidates that are going to come in too. Thank you very much, Senator. Thank you, the Republican women of Central New York, for putting this on. And thank you, most of all, for all the great support you've given me over the years. Thanks.
Thank you. The next person I'm going to call on is Gary Finch. I'm going to ask him to start walking up here because it takes him a while. He's got a broken ankle and he's recovering from it. So rather than embarrass him so everyone watches him, I want to mention something about the candidate from Watertown, Burns. This is very interesting. And I was called earlier this year by my cousin who lives in Cape Vincent. And he says, I'm the treasurer for this candidate, you gotta help. Well, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna be up there not only donating, but also speaking on his behalf. And he's gonna win. He almost won last time without any backing whatsoever. And so I'm glad that Will gave you more details about him. But I want to tell you, I'm gonna give you a preview if you're gonna be there. I'm going to tell you one thing I'm going to say. My cousin's name is John DeFrancisco.
Oh, geez, imagine that.
Don't serve her anymore, okay? So, my cousin John DeFrancisco ran for office as well. This is an amazing statistic. Between the two of us, we've won 16 times and lost 2. To be more specific, I won 16 times, and he lost 2. I told him, stop running for office, okay? But, great candidate, great friend of mine here, who has a tough candidate, Gary Finch. I just want to, come on up, because I'll talk all day long. But this concept of the New York City crowd controlling the Assembly, there's no question about it. Last time, Silver spent more money on the same candidate that's running against him, and fortunately, Gary was successful. We need him back again. We can't gain seats in the Assembly and then lose other ones because it's all the New York City interest. Gary is a Central New Yorker, true and blue. I was at that fundraiser last night. It was mob. Everybody loves the man, and although he's slowed by his ankle, he's going to win this thing, but we need your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I was hoping to walk in here and kind of walk up to the rostrum here and be unnoticed. I really didn't want anyone to notice the ankle. I'm afraid my opposition is making use of that right now. It's great to serve in the Assembly. I'll say that right from the outset. It's wonderful to be able to be part of the DeFrancisco team, along with Will Barclay and myself and others that represent Central New York, and we're certainly hopeful that the Madison County seat that was referred to will be ours this time. And of course, Northern New York up there in Ogdensburg is another area that we need to gain that seat back. Last time out was a tough race. They spent about almost $1 million from New York City, Sheldon Silver. Financed that race, and we won by almost 10%, which is gratifying. But here I am back in the race again, although my opponent's partner, Speaker Silver, is no longer a player in the race. I believe he'll be vacationing in Williamsburg, Pennsylvania Federal Penitentiary. And there's an enormous amount of corruption down there, as we all read about. But you know, you don't see many Republican Assembly members going off to jail, or leaders, they're not, or senators. I spoke last night briefly, and Republicans seem to be more involved in their communities. You're not just electing a senator or an assemblyman, or you're electing a community leader that's part of the community. They're with the United Way. They're serving in all kinds of capacities in the Rotary Club. Public service seems to be in the Republican domain, and we tend to own that. So we're just not here for the politics. We're not here for that. We're here because we're neighbors, and we all serve in one way or another. I believe in citizen representation, not full-time legislators. We don't need them. We need people right from the grassroots. This country was founded by men that served in the House of Burgess and went home and were home.
Thank you, Senator. It's truly an honor to be here with such a great slate of candidates. Senator, Will, Claudia, John, Matt, Rob, of course, Deb Karalunas. I certainly echo her sentiments. It's been quite a long time on the trail, and we've got 33 days left, but who's counting? And I appreciate I've met so many good people and all the help that you've given us, and anything you can do to help us push this through down the home stretch. We're on Facebook, Gilbert for Supreme Court. Our website's going up here pretty soon. Yard signs. Both Deb and I have cut our spots, our radio, TV commercials that are going to start being trotted out next week. So look for those. I'll push them around on social media, however you can do it. And there's one other thing I wanted to mention, and why it's such an honor for me to be here talking to the Central New York women today. My mom, Holly Gilbert, back in the 70s up in Watertown, was president of the Jefferson County Women's Republican Club for a number of years. And 40 years ago today, we lost her very suddenly and very tragically. And when I got this invitation to speak tonight, October 6th, 40 years to the day after we lost her, as hard a day this is, I smile, because how cool is that? That on such a tough day, I'm able to speak to a group of women, fine women Republicans here in Central New York, doing something that my mom would have been very proud of and she was very involved with. So I really am honored to be here, to be speaking to you, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. And please, thank you for all you've done, and continue to get out there and help us get this thing done. Thank you.
We have two great candidates, and they're going to both win, but we don't take anything for granted. I forgot to mention something after Judge Karalunas spoke. She indicated how much fun she's having on the campaign trail, and we run every 2 years. They run every 14. She's having so much fun on the campaign trail that and she can't do it during the 14-year period. So I'm going to put a bill in to shorten the term of office so that Deb Karalunas can be much happier in her life. Thank you. Okay. Now we got two other candidates, and Rob Colville is here, and I know Benedict Doran is here for her husband. I think we should go by alphabetical order. Rob Colville, if you could come up. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to.
Where's it going?
Nobody knows. Be nice, they tell me. Many years ago, I don't know if you still do, teach at Lemoyne?
They call me, but I don't have time.
Okay. He used to teach at Lemoyne. I wrote a book about a murder case that I handled. And he's the only person that bought any copies.
And he made students buy
And
copies.
he made students buy copies. So there's, you know, it's a good thing. He's got good judgment, okay?
Thank you, John. I was going to say that, and I had him come to my class in the morning, but I taught as an natural professor up there, and he was kind to do that, and it was really, really good to have him up there. So, most of the people I've met in here, but some I haven't, so I'll introduce myself a little bit. Born and raised in Lysander, been in Onondaga County my entire life. I'm a Navy vet, and I'm a retired Onondaga County Deputy Sheriff. I first started after I got out of the military. I got my first job in law enforcement at Camillus Police Department, and I transferred to the Sheriff's Department. I worked there about 13 years, and I unfortunately got hurt catching an armed bank robber up on 481. I ran him off the road. He had a shotgun, pointed at us during the chase, but I got him off the road, and I was getting out of the car to go after him. I was half in and half out of my car when I got hit from behind, so I was right in the middle of the door again. Not a good place to be. I did get him. I did break the window on the car, took the shotgun away from him, got him under arrest, and some guys got there to help me. I kind of stood up and said, "That hurts." But I didn't sit still. I actually went back into the department, worked for a while with computers and the social media information we talk about today and all the technology they have. When I was working with computers back then, I took home a portable computer that was the size of a suitcase, and you pulled the front down and you put in 2 discs to make it work. But I did work with the computer stuff, and while I was doing that, personnel had filed for retirement, and 5 doctors said I couldn't be a police officer anymore. I kept saying I could, they kept saying they couldn't. So I finally listened to them, and I took the retirement and went back to law school. I didn't sit still. So I've been practicing law for 23 years. So I tell people I have 13 years in law enforcement, 23 years practicing law, and after I got out of law school, I actually got sucked back into the department. Kevin Welch brought me back in. I wanted to be his legal advisor for another 10 years. So I've got a total of 36 years involved in the criminal justice system. I'm married. Actually, if you look at my Facebook page, you'll see I put a picture on today of my wife. Been married 39 years. Just a couple weeks ago, I went up north and I took a picture of her by one of the lakes. I thought, geez, it's kind of a pose like it was when she's sitting on the couch when we got married. So I put the 2 pictures on, saying she's just as beautiful now as she was then. And I'm glad she's keeping me this long. So I'm trying to get her to keep me a couple more years if I can. I mean, so. I wanted to be a judge for a long time. I've talked to the Republican Party in my town about doing it, but the time has never been right. And this opportunity came up, and I'm very, very excited about it. Same with Supreme Court judge. There are 2 county court judge openings, so you can vote for 2 candidates. I'm not greedy. I only want 1 position. It's good enough for me. There are 2 of us running those, so there are 2 positions available. Actually, I'll do me a favor. I'll pass these cards around and down. You got my Facebook information on there. Same thing. You do social media. I need help getting my name out there and passed around. Share things, like things. It would really help me out. We have our signs being shipped in tomorrow, I believe. I got the shipment order today with the tracking number. It's supposed to be delivered tomorrow. So we're going to try and get those out. We got a bunch of signs coming in. All I can say is I'll get going because it's getting to the end and I don't want to take the time anymore, but I really appreciate all the help that everybody's given me. The Republican Party's been great. The Women's League has been great. All the help I get is so wonderful. To run this wide race is heartwarming. I appreciate it very much. When I was a county sheriff, I was all over this county taking calls and dealing with people and crime. When I started running for judge and I wound up running countywide, I thought, how did the county get so much bigger than it did before? I do see it. Okay. I want to thank everybody for all their support. I really appreciate it, and we'll keep plugging away. Thank you.
I want a job working with you.
Don't wish that on yourself. I've got to mention this. My wife is here, Rob mentioned he's been married 38 years. Linda's back there. Just put your hand up. I know you won't stand up. We've dated for 6 years and we've been married for 48 years. Okay? And I've got to say, from the bottom of my heart, she's the luckiest woman in the world. And I'm the luckiest man. No doubt about it. Anybody that knows Linda knows that's true. Now, I would like to introduce Benedict Doran as being like a sister to me, but no one would buy that. She's like a daughter to me. She was in my office for some time. Her sister was in my office. In fact, they ran my office for a period of time. And Ben is probably the best political person that's around right now. And she's fortunate to have a very important position this year, namely helping to run her husband's campaign. And Matt is out running around trying to gain additional votes, and definitely Benedict is capable of speaking on her husband's behalf. Matt Doran, come on.
I have to say I did learn from the best, so everything that I does everything right.
The mic is not working.
Is it better?
No.
Of course it would break from me, I know that.
It kept going on for me too.
Okay?
Anyway, I learned a lot working with the senator. Matt can't be here tonight, he had a scheduling conflict, but he wanted me to thank everybody here in this room who has helped so much already that he's met. And for those who haven't met him, I wanted to give you a little bit of a background about him. I'll keep it brief, because that is one of the things I learned from the senator, is keep it brief, especially when between the food. I didn't even touch it this time. Okay. Never get between the food at the end if you're the last speaker. So I'll just tell you a few highlights about Matt that I think make him qualified to be one of our next county court judges. He served in the Navy for the last 23 years. In the last 3, he's been serving. You still can't hear me? Okay. The last 3 years, he's been serving as a Navy judge, and they do get extensive training, judicial training, as much as they would get here in New York State. So that's one of his qualifications. He's been in the district attorney's office for 18 years, and he's been a homicide prosecutor for about 5 years. And for the past 18 years, as part of his job, he's been in county court for every day, really. And he's handled thousands of cases. He teaches business law at the Whitman School, and then on a personal level, he's a baseball and basketball coach and teaches church school. He was qualified by the New York State Independent Judicial Qualification Committee, the Onondaga County Bar Association, and the Women's Bar Association. He wanted me to thank you again for all the things that you guys have done with him throughout the campaign. And as my second hat, I'm helping Congressman Katko, and Matt Gruda is here, and he brought like 10 people with him, and they're looking for volunteers. So please stop by Matt Gruda's table and see how you can help John Katko get his vote out. I know he's up by 19 points, but there's still a month, and anything can happen, right? So, right.
And he's a wonderful husband.
Oh, he is a wonderful husband.
And he's an incredible father.
Yes.
Okay, she
And
forgot
we
that.
celebrated 20 years on Tuesday.
Okay, I'm going to wrap this up with a wrap. What do you call it?
Wrap up.
Lightning round. Lightning round. Judge Martha Mulroy couldn't be here. She's at a judicial event for family court judges. Her only concern is a Mickey Mouse write-in as well. She has no opponent, so she will win. Now, the 3 last candidates, I'm here.
You're not, now you're not.
I'm here, well, I'm here, and there's two other candidates that are in this general area in central New York for Senate seats. And they are Pam Helming, who just won a primary to fill in Senator Nozzolio's seat after his retirement. I met with her today. We're working hand in hand, and I'm going to help her in any way possible. And also Senator Patty Ritchie from the North Country. She has Mickey Mouse as an opponent as well. So she's doing just fine, but they both wanted to apologize. I think Pam is at an event in Rochester. She's got a long involved district, and she's definitely somebody to support. Deb Cody handed out, you see a postcard on your table, hopefully?
No, yeah.
No?
She's keeping them to herself.
No, I passed them all out.
Okay.
Michele just took care.
Okay, if you don't have it, raise your hand. But basically, the postcard has two sides to it. And this applies to the assembly candidates as well. If you look at the blue side, that shows the distribution of the Republican senators on the blue side. Turn it over and look at the yellow side. That's the distribution of the Democrat candidates. And that's why it's essential that the Republicans get the majority if they lose the majority. So it's not only about my seat. If we don't keep the majority, we'll have the yellow side of this card representing the Senate. And right now, hopefully it'll change, but right now, the Assembly side is just as skewed as far as government. On one occasion, and this is where I'm going to end, on one occasion in 2009 and 2010, the Democrats took control of the Senate. It needs 32 to have a majority. And of the 32, we 23 weren't from downstate. 23 of the 32 were from New York City. So all their leadership was New York City, except a couple tokens. During that 2 years, taxes were increased $14 billion. Spending was increased $14 billion. And I'll give you one other example. During that period of time, with respect to criminal justice, a bill was passed that we all voted against, we couldn't stop it, where the Democrats feel that people ought to have a second chance and be able to get jobs once they're out of jail. Nobody disagrees with that. But what they did was, they passed a bill that we couldn't stop that basically said, if you're convicted of even a felony, it could be a drug sale, your record will be sealed if you go through rehabilitation. Maybe that sounds okay. In addition, 3 other prior misdemeanors will be sealed. And that's the law of the land right now, the law of New York State, which means if you have a nursing home, you run a school, whatever it may be, you can't find out about a drug dealer, a 4-offense drug dealer, because of this bill. That's the stuff that they support. That's the stuff that they will be able to do again if we lose this majority. So bring that card with you when you're thinking of Pam Helming, Pat Ritchie, whoever else. The fact of the matter is, it's all about the majority. That's why I've been in Buffalo, going back next week. I was in Albany, down in Poughkeepsie, wherever the hell that is. And Hyde Park. I was at Hyde Park, places I never go to, but helping the candidates in those areas. So keep that in mind. And I made an error. The error was we had one other candidate that I forgot. That's why Deb is such a good person. She circled it. Dina Falcone is running for, what are you running for, Dina?
Town clerk in Lysander. If you live in Lysander, please vote for me, and I have signs in my car. If you'd like to put one on your lawn, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
She's running for Lysander Town Clerk. And you know how good she is. She worked for me and survived. She's a survivor. You should have a T-shirt, I survived Senator DeFrancisco's office. So help her out if you can if you're in Lysander. So thank you all. Thanks to Republican women. I you gotta get to the table, or this slightly tipsy member of the organization will yell at me again for not telling you about the table, silent auction. So, please do so, and I guess there's food at some point. All right, Deb's in charge.
Thank you to City Francisco. Thank you again to all our sponsors. They're all listed here, so everybody can take a look at that, and then thank the sponsors when you see them. Don't forget about the silent auction. We are having food in the back, so help yourself and just kind of stay and hang out and mingle. Thank you.